Hi, and welcome to the Breakout Creative. My name is PR, I'm your host, and today we have Brett Smith, who is a very talented art director, creative director. As you can see, we're here at R&R Partners today, which is one of the larger ad agencies here in the United States and worldwide. Brett, thank you so much for being here.
No problem.
Can you please tell us who you are and what you do?
I am a associate creative director. I have worked for R&R for about 14 years. Right now I work for like a smaller arm of R&R that's an innovation agency called House of V. I build augmented reality for brands mostly on TikTok and Snapchat.
Okay. A lot of my mind goes to Snapchat filters, TikTok filters.
That's the fastest way to describe it. So the way I kind of think about it is, you've got all these different genres of advertising. One big kind of umbrella genre is experiential. And what I do is digital experiential. Generally speaking, experiential advertising, you have like a physical space they have to come in. You're limited, your reach on experiential advertisement is somewhat limited to the people that can actually physically be there. Right. Often you'll do like a case study or like a YouTube video about it just to try to extend that reach, but it's not the same, right? Like the experience is this positive emotional connection in the moment with a brand presence that programs people's brains for recall so that hopefully then they buy your product.
Right. So when it comes to experiential stuff, a lot of what I've experienced is a lot of like, in-person displays, things like that. A lot of people like right now, Chick-fil-A just opened in Pleasant Grove. And so as I was driving by, they had a giant hot air balloon with a Chick-fil-A logo on it, right? That to me is like experiential because people come, wow, look, a hot air balloon, let's go buy some chicken, right?
Yeah.
When it's converted to a digital, for me, it's like, I just use it as like a TikTok filter or like a Snapchat filter.
That's all it is.
So it's all just awareness branding. It's not any like call to action necessarily.
It can be, and it's evolving very rapidly. Like we often run up against things we're wanting to do that the technology can't do yet. We're limited by the speed of the processor in the lowest common denominator phone. So you think how many generations back of iPhone are still using TikTok, and you don't want to do anything too technologically complicated to omit them.
Right.
But at some point, if your phone is so old, you're not going to be using filters on TikTok anyway. It's just like the demographic doesn't overlap if your phone is too old, so they kind of drop off.
I didn't even think about that, where you have to kind of factor in for the oldest version of a product using that application.
So I'm one of only 6 partners for TikTok. Of those 6 partners, there's really only 2 of us that get consistent work. At one point I was doing like 70% of all of TikTok's experiential augmented reality filters. They call them effects on TikTok. They're filters on Snapchat, effects on TikTok.
Is that just a branding thing for them, or?
It's a branding thing, which I disagree with. I think they just name it what everybody understands already.
Right.
Like unless Snapchat trademarked
And that's just so
filters,
hard for me to believe that they trademark filters.
I don't know. I haven't looked into it, but
that's interesting.
I think it's silly to change the name from what people already know.
Right. I mean, I still call them filters on TikTok.
Everybody does.
Everybody does. So like, as you know, because you're on the podcast, Breakout Creative, I started this because I have been able to work on some amazing stuff, Emmy nominated, Emmy winning things, global brand creative stuff, but I haven't quote unquote made it. And I feel like there's a lot of creatives out there that are in the same boat. And
can I ask you a question?
Sure, please.
This is your interview though.
Yeah, no, please.
Okay, judo.
This is a conversation between us.
How do you quantify made it?
That's a good question. For me, it's almost a sense of accomplishment, right? Like, I think there is a monetary backing to it, right? Because as creatives, we appreciate art. At least this is my understanding of it, and this is my ideology of it. We appreciate the art behind creative, but we also understand that, at least through social media and through speaking with creatives and seeing the advertising world and the social scape of it, there is a monetary understanding of quote made it as well, right? We want to be, successful in a dollar sense, but we also want to be successful in our craft. So for me, when I say made it, I want to be, this feels a little shallow, but like well recognized in my field. But I also want to be making a decent living through my field, right? Because at the end of the day, our job is creativity. And there's a lot of people that I know that will die on the hill of like, creativity is pure. You should not attach a monetary value to it. If it sells for something, great. If not, that is, in the purest form, it's something that you create. I think there's something to be said there, but the other end, it's like, the unfortunate reality of the world is we strive to be creative, we strive to create art, but we also want to sustain our lives and provide for our future and build for our families, right? I myself am first generation. And so for me, I was in IT when we met. For Future and Design, I was the IT guy while I was a student, right? And so, and from then on, I went and I worked in IT for a long time. I was a network engineer by the time I was 21. So I was set to make 6 figures a year easy.
But it's boring as shit.
But I got sick of sitting in a literal closet because they put all the server rooms in closets.
So you're hitting on like, I fancy myself an amateur psychologist.
Sure.
I study psychology, but not to the sense of like, oh, I'm going to like, use that to make money or something.
Right.
I feel like a lot of another kind of unpopular take on advertising. I feel like our job as creatives that are monetized is psychological manipulation of consumers. Like we understand the images and things that the messages that we can show them,
right,
that will push them to action, whether it's buying a product or acting a certain way, or when I've done a lot of PSA type work, so I'm going to choose not to drink and drive, or I'm going to quit smoking, or like whatever it is.
Right.
Creatives, from what I've, again, go look up your own sources, because like I'm not a psychologist. But from what I understand, creatives are motivated by, when you talk about recognition, they're a little bit more motivated by people appreciating the thing that they created, because look how awesome it is.
Right.
I mean, everybody should like connect with that. That's a creative. Unfortunately, that leads to people like taking advantage of our salaries.
Definitely.
Because other people in the industry are more driven by purely salary. But you're right. We got to pay the bills. We got to feed the people. But often it seems like the industry of marketing and advertising, and I mean, maybe not marketing as much, but specifically advertising, it revolves around the creative product. Like without the creatives, there's like none of the rest of the people have a job.
Right.
Yet often like it seems like the salaries are like, oh, well, he's the face of the company. He can't like come up with any ideas or do anything, but he's got a nice smile and a nice jawline, so he gets to talk to the client and we pay him better.
Because nowadays everything is online. It's social media, it's LinkedIn, everything, right? I spend more time on LinkedIn than I do Instagram nowadays, right? Like that's just kind of how it is in this industry.
I hate LinkedIn.
I mean, I'm not going to say yes or no. I'm with you on this one, but
for as narcissistic as Instagram and like any social media,
sure,
LinkedIn is like 10 times the look at me that any of the other ones are.
Definitely.
And it's on purpose, right?
It's like on purpose. That's what it's for. It's,
whatever.
Hey, look at me. But with everyone saying, look at me online, how can people who are coming up as creatives stand out in a space where everyone is trying to get them to look at them?
So again, I've got this, I call it the little book of BS, because my initials are Brett Smith. And it's not a real book. It's just like this book of like kind of mottos and things I follow in my life, in my career. When I approach like a social media content project or anything that like I'm hoping gets eyes on it, one of the things I ask is like, would I share this organically, in the sense of like, would I show this to someone? Does this matter in any way enough for me to do even more than just hit like? Like everybody's looking for engagement, right? And or like they're fishing for comments, like, and that's where rage bait like comes out. And it's just like, well, if I can't get people to comment, on the thing because of the merit of the thing, I'm just gonna like put out all this content that pisses everyone off, and then they'll like yell at me in the comments, and then I'll get the engagement I need to try to monetize. If you're trying to get noticed in the digital space, what would you notice? Because that's what other people would notice. Like, what would you care about? If you don't care about the thing you're making, that's often like a problem with, a creative brief from a client. Like, you get a creative brief from a client and you're like, I don't care about this shit.
Sure.
Like, and it's hard to work on.
Sure.
Because it's so uninspiring, and like, you're just putting noise out into the world, and like, working in advertising and market, it's already like self-loathing enough. You're like, I hate watching advertisements. Everybody does.
Sure.
They're pounded up into us, yet I do it for a living.
Right.
And I want advertising that like provides value to me. If it's just taking attention, right? That's what 99.9% of advertising is, just trying to take attention.
Right.
And hopefully they're trying to convert that into whatever their goals are for the advertising, usually selling something.
Sure.
That's where like experiential and like digital experiential that I do, I think is, and I'm biased because I do that, but I think that's where it matters to consumers so much more and is so much more powerful, is because you give someone an entertaining experience, that's value to them. That's, if you were able to like isolate and be like, hey, would you be willing to trade your time for this, level of entertainment or education or a game, like some fun, some sort of interaction with this thing. And if it's a matter of like, I can spend my time like seeing every fourth swipe as a digital ad that like I've trained my brain to see sponsored and like swipe away.
Right.
Or actually like engage with like a little Flappy Birds game where my face is on the thing, and like I play that game and I'm competing against other people on the platform. And that's something I might share with my friends and say, can you beat my Flappy Bird score? Because I spent 6 days learning how to play this game. Or like, it's value. Like, R&R Partners recently did a project. There was a toy company that came out with a Mr. Beast kind of co-branded partnership toy, like Mr. Beast toy. And they were going to announce it at Comic-Con in San Diego. And so for experiential, they ended up like tipping over this huge tanker of all this slime and all this like fake smoke, and you would walk into this tanker and they had like some of the first of the production toys that you could go in, and like, so everybody going to Comic-Con, there's like all this toxic waste spilled out in the street or whatever. That's cool. I want to know what that is.
Right.
I don't, I'm not a toy guy myself, but I would have probably bought one if I was there.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think that's an interesting way to look at it. And just to kind of bounce off that a little bit, like if you had to mentor a new creative and they're kind of just coming up, they're more of a sponge to kind of the new technologies, new everything coming out as creatives, what's one piece of advice that you would give them that they wouldn't learn from a book or in a class?
One thing that I say in an agency setting to help them get integrated really quickly is to ask for help, even if they don't need it or think they need it. Ask for the opinions, even if they don't want them. Like, that is irrelevant. For lack of a better term, like fluff the pillow of other creatives. Again, psychologically, we respond really well when people care about the things we make.
Right.
But if you also indicate that you care about their opinion, that's going to immediately make them like you more.
Sure.
It's kind of an ego thing. Ego is a huge problem in agencies and whatever it can be. And if you can do it genuinely, it'll take you farther. If you're just trying to get into a creative field, you want to be a creative. If you can find something that you love, that you're passionate about, it's so much easier to create like a portfolio piece or something to show off.
Right.
Of something that you care about and love, rather than thinking, well, what should I do that this person likes or whatever. It's a little bit, everybody talks about authenticity and that, but I think it's more important than ever. But when it comes to passion projects to turn into a portfolio piece, figure out what the parameters of the end product need to be, if it's a video or like a reel or something like that, and work backwards into something that you're passionate about.
That's something that I've heard a lot coming up as a creative, right? It's follow your passions. The problem that I've run into, and I'm sure a lot of creatives who are coming up now are running into, is the work that we want to be passionate about is not the work that people will pay for. So how do you find a balance, and how do you recommend creatives coming up will find a balance to find something that they're passionate about, but also something that people are willing to pay for?
So with a piece like that, you're not necessarily having to show off something that they'll buy. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be one-to-one. Like from like a hiring perspective, if I'm like looking at, let's not say young, because you don't have to be young, but a fresh person's portfolio.
Fresh creative.
And it's probably different for everybody, but I'm not looking for a one-to-one, show me an advertisement of the thing that I want. And maybe some people are. Generally, I'm looking for kind of the idea process and like, that's a unique idea. And how did you come up with that? If I say, how did you come up with that? Like, if I want to know how you landed on that idea, like what drove you to that, that's a compelling enough idea for a campaign or like whatever it is you're showing.
Right.
Or like, why did you choose to, if I ask a question, like you've won in a sense. Like, and that's the same with like showing ads to consumers. If I want to know more, if I invested my mental power into the thing in any way, then that is a successful piece for a creative.
Right.
Because I am really good at ignoring stuff that I don't care about.
Right.
And everybody is. We're all trained to do it.
Right.
Because of a-holes like me in the advertising industry, pushing stuff into people's faces. Make them think about it. Make them give them something that like they want to know more about it for some reason.
Okay.
And it's hard because not every person's exactly the same and same interests and stuff. And there's luck involved with things, and with the luck factor, like of just being in the right place at the right time or meeting the right person because you sat next to them on an airplane, like just whatever random stuff.
Right.
That they say make your own luck. And what that means is like, you can't get lucky out in the world without being out in the world.
Right.
Like do stuff. And again, back to like following your passions and doing that stuff. If you're out just making stuff, like I think that is one of my own challenges. We were talking about playing video games on the way into this interview.
Sure.
It's like video games are never going to get me a better job playing video games. But I like playing video games and rest is important and there's all these things to balance.
Definitely.
But just make something. Like I right now I do augmented reality and I just thought it was cool. And so I started dabbling in augmented reality and I was figuring out, I think in the beginning it was on Instagram and Facebook, on Meta. I was figuring out their stuff. And I had a project that was like, good enough that I was showing that I could build something.
Right.
And I was just interested in it. I just thought it was cool. My uncle took us when we were little into this VR thing that was like terrible back then. It was like in the 90s or something. And it was so bad compared to what we have today. But it just kind of, that little nerd piece in me combined with like the art in me. I was like, how are they doing this? Like real-time rendering on a face tracking and these types of things. And so I just looked into it when I could have said, that sounds really complicated and been scared of it. I just like kind of dug into it.
Right.
And that led me to like a foot in the door with this House of V innovation group, because that's what they've been doing. And they got an opportunity to work. TikTok announced that they were going to start an augmented reality program.
Right.
And so they were calling some people that were working professionally. At that time, they were partnered with just Meta, and it wasn't called Meta then, Instagram and Snapchat.
Right.
They're like, we don't have time. Like in their heads, they're like, yeah, we want to expand our business, whatever.
Right.
But they had so many projects with like a kind of a small crew at the time. They're like, there's no way we're going to get to this. So they were reminded to call me because I had like shown them the projects and like expressed interest. And, I'd worked with these guys at the agency for years before they kind of did this specialized thing. And so they sent me an email and they sent it out to a few creatives at R&R and said, does anybody want to try to learn this software for TikTok? Right. And I said, yes, I've been telling you guys I want to do this.
Right.
So they sent us, the software at the time was, NDA, like TikTok sent it to you.
Sure.
It was early COVID. I took this software, which was in Chinese when I got it. It wasn't in English yet.
Right.
The UI in China, it's apparent to me that it is not the same. It's like what we expect from our UI in the United States.
Right.
But I was able to get a couple sample projects, and I figured out their kind of layering system, like if you know Photoshop or Premiere or whatever it is you're working in. And I was able to turn some things off or delete some things out of the kind of program. I was able to kind of deconstruct these, and I was like, I think this Chinese character is this thing, or it does this thing.
Sure.
And I was able to kind of reverse engineer, and back to like when I was a kid and I used to take things apart. Right. Like that has input on my creativity of like being able to deconstruct things and understand how they work physically in 3 dimensions, like for experiential things that I've built. Right. And then in pseudo 3D, in digital 3D. Right. And take it apart. And I was able to put together, out of all the creatives that they'd asked to help, I was the only one that was able to put together a demo, including people that were Chinese and spoke Mandarin. Right. That didn't, I guess they were busy or whatever, but I was invested. I wanted to learn this. Sure. I was hungry for it. And I didn't know what I was going to do. Like, I didn't know what I was going to give them back as a demo that would get their attention, back to getting attention. Right. And I couldn't think of that thing of like, what is fun? Like, what is fun enough for me to care about? Or like what, and I was driving home, and Post Malone used to live up the canyon from where I live. And this black McLaurin passes me, tinted out windows, turns up the canyon. I'm like, that was Post Malone, because there is no car in this neighborhood like that. And I got home and I built an augmented reality experience that, I researched all of Post Malone's tattoos and like drew some of them and like was able to Photoshop some out where, it puts Post Malone's tattoos on your face, and when you smile, you have a gold grill. And we sent that to TikTok, and they immediately called us back, and they said they were passing it around the office and they loved it, and that was exactly what they wanted. And they said, you guys are official partners with TikTok. And I didn't know shit about what I was doing in augmented reality. I had put together one demo and like and they called me up, and they called us up, and they're like, we've got a project for you. You will be doing Walmart's Black Friday campaign right off the bat. And at the time they had already hired, like the #1 YouTuber at the time was Zach King. Right. He was hired on to like be the
face.
the face of this with like, they'd spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on content creators for this.
Right.
And they're like, can you do this? And sometimes you got to fake it too. I would say that to young people. Yeah. I was just like, I'm gonna figure this shit out. Yeah, I can do it. And I did. And I figured it out and I did it. And then there was another project. And for the first year, it was like, I have never done what you're asking me to do.
Right.
But I think I can do it. And if I can't, the moment I can't, I'll let you know. But we're going to work it out and figure it out.
Right.
And I still learn every day. But like, you should be doing something all the time and be out in the world and be making these connections both of information. Like that's all creativity is like free association of stuff. That's why a lot of ADHD, what do they call it nowadays?
Sure.
They end up being creatives because they're good at, they know a lot of things because they're all over the place.
Right.
And they're able to call on those things. They take that hopper and they're like, oh, what if we put these things together? Mm-hmm. I had a professor in college that used to tell us, if you have a commute that's the same every day,
right,
turn off at a different exit as many times as you can and go through a neighborhood or go through a place you've never been, like travel.
Right.
See things and fill up your experiences with freshness.
Absolutely.
Or your output will be stale.
Absolutely.
So that's maybe a lot of advice for a new person.
I think, so, I mean, when I was, and even now as a creative, right? When I was a young creative, or an inexperienced creative, and even now as I would say intermediate creative, right? Like, I still don't know shit. But I know a little more than someone who knows absolutely nothing, right? So like, I think that's something that I've learned is just, if you're a creative, soak up everything that you can learn, right? I don't remember who told me this, but it was like, the day you stop learning is the day you start dying. And I've been living by that ever since. I feel like it was during Find, maybe, but I'm not sure exactly who said it.
We used to have this junior creative, and she would draw kind of these like, she loved Disney.
Sure.
She was a Disney princess, like legit. Like at one point and if she sees this, she's gonna know I'm talking about her.
Right.
She'd do this hand lettering, and it was this very like raw style, like almost childish style. And like I'm sitting in this, advertising agency, corporate identity stuff, like this polish and whatever, and this style that she's developing. I was just like, what is she doing? Like, I didn't understand kind of like what she was doing with all these illustrations and all this stuff. And she left, with her husband got a job like back east or something. She left, she got a job at Mattel.
Oh, crap.
And then I think she had a family or something and left Mattel or something. And she's like, I think she's killing it.
Yeah.
But all she does is like make stuff all the time. Like,
right.
I have this thing where I do not like showing my work out. Like I am so scared to show people. What if they don't like it? What if somebody better than me sees it? Because everybody around me is better than me at something, but that's everybody. And so she has no like qualms about showing everything she does and the process, and it's this raw authenticity and like openness, and like she has like, I watched her go from like just starting out, not kind of getting stuff, to just destroying, because she was like so good at like being able to show people and like absorb their feedback and implement where necessary. And
that I feel like is a skill in its own of showing your work.
I can't do it.
I can't do it. I mean, that's what this is for, is to quote, show my work, right? It's this is my excuse to create something, right?
I've got TikTok campaigns that, last I checked, the hashtag had over 55 billion views on the hashtag.
Wow.
Nobody knows I did that shit.
Right.
Except for the client.
Right.
The client knows I did it. TikTok knows I did it.
Right.
But you know,
yeah.
And you know, it's not necessarily my story to tell, because the client paid for the work and whatever.
Sure.
So there's all these legalities involved with me like claiming
claiming what it is.
you know,
Yeah. 'Cause I was about to say, I was
responsibility
like,
or credit or whatever.
I was like, call it out, you know, but like,
But AR is so new. There's so many like licensing questions about like licensing
Right.
music because nobody understands. Like, if you're licensing it for content, they've kind of got that figured out. They kind of understand impressions and like, oh, how many people are going to hear it and all this stuff. But then,
right.
like, AR is just kind of niche and like people. I don't know. At least our lawyer says, be careful.
Right. Do you think it's important for creatives to learn law and like case studies and?
I think everybody should have like a basic understanding of IP. There's so many things happening right now that are gray area.
Definitely.
And like the internet, like basically everyone knows you can right click on an image and save the image.
Right.
And how many times, you know, people I know have seen their own work being monetized outside of the context of which they made it.
Yep.
I think that legal case just settled with, I can't remember who it was, but they were like ordered to pay because they were able to show they trained their AI model on whatever.
Sure.
And none of those artists were compensated for it. I don't know what's going to happen exactly with AI. I think it's bubbled in the sense that like the promise of what it can deliver is not there. Like you see these Nike or Adidas ads that they make totally with AI. Mm-hmm. If I turned that into Nike or Adidas, I would lose my job. But they're like, but you can tell it's made with AI,
right?
And what everybody is excited about, and that they kind of miss like the product that's coming out because they're thinking about how exciting it is that a computer made that.
Right.
And that's the feeling that gives the output permission to exist. Where as a craftsperson or a creative or a designer or an artist, if you made that, no. And it's getting better and they claim it's getting better and it could be better and it is better, but also it'll never do some things.
Sure.
It'll never taste.
Absolutely.
So what is AI supposed to do if it's trying to sell something that based on flavor?
Right.
Or it can't feel. So there's all this hype for, you can make this music with AI, but if the thing making it can't feel, can you still feel something when you hear it or see it? Maybe. But it might be just, maybe it's your own, interpretation that you're feeling, but there's no feeling being imparted into like the soul of that work.
Right.
And there never will be, ever.
Right.
People worry about, AI is coming for all the creatives' jobs. I don't think so. But I do think y'all better get up to speed on AI.
Right.
Regardless of the direction it ends up, like ride that wave to wherever it takes us. When computers started doing graphics, they're like, oh, that's it. All these graphic designers taking photos and doing layouts, they've lost their jobs. There are more graphic designers, per capita today than there ever were because computer graphics opened up the accessibility and everybody's like, oh, my company can have computer graphics?
Right.
Boom, I want that too. And it's not just like somebody in a dark room like cutting together film to like make this black and white Volkswagen ad or whatever it was back then.
That's a perfect segue to my next question where does AI help your team? Like we were kind of talking about how AI is, coming up, but I personally use AI all the time, right? Like sometimes I'll use it to help with ideation. Sometimes I'll use it to help with like menial tasks or like, me and you, we've worked on some stuff where you've helped me, ideas and stuff for like Garage Mahal, which is something I'm working on. And I started sketching some stuff and then you're like, dude, just like pop it in AI
Start
for a
with
minute.
AI.
Yeah. Like,
I think it's a bit like AI right now. We use it not as ever like a final product, because again, like I said a minute ago, I don't think it produces final product. I don't think it produces the quality that like I demand from my work.
Right.
I mean, just like as an example, we did like a little game for the Super Bowl for Spam that had this like 8-bit crab, and your face like was stuck on the crab, and if you tilt your head, he moved back and forth, and then Spam Musabi falls in 8-bit from the sky, and you're supposed to catch it, right? It's a game.
Right.
I needed an 8-bit animated background of like, you know, tall portrait style beach scene, Hawaii vibes.
Sure.
Spam is very popular there. And we could either go in and like draw however many frames we needed of 8-bit waves coming in. And I mean, that's a week-long project to just do like hand draw some 8-bit frames. We're not 8-bit artists, so we're coming up to speed with that too. So I put it in AI, and I said, I want these waves to move. It's got to be 8-bit. It's got to do this. And it gave me back a thing that still sucked ass, but I was able to then take those frames and Photoshop those and get from nothing to 80% of the way, like that.
Right.
And I was able to turn that artwork out in a day. You know, starting with just like a still frame.
Right.
I mean, that's a good example. There's tons of stuff for logos and that. I wouldn't ever use like a necessarily AI kicks out a logo, but I would definitely use it for ideation and like, oh, it's interesting the way the AI decided to combine these two shapes.
Right.
Like maybe I can draw something like that, and then, you know, again, filling the hopper, like of just like, well, what AI sees a lot more as it's gathering, it's learning than we do. How can we weaponize that to just like see a whole bunch of new stuff and how it puts things together that it's seeing based on our prompts, send different prompts and like take all of that and use it for inspiration's huge.
Right.
But run it through you as a creative after.
Right.
And make it. Like don't rely on the AI, or you are risking the thing without soul giving you a product that doesn't have any soul. How is somebody going to emotionally react to it, if at all?
Right.
If this thing doesn't even understand people.
100%. Yeah.
Or it never can at the level that I think quality creative does. I think the difference between quality creative and not is somebody felt something.
Being a creative is a very interesting thing, right? Like, it's not, quote, the norm.
Interesting is how I describe food I don't like when I want to be nice.
That's kind of how I'm going about this too. And this is me coming off as a creative, right? Like, you know, I haven't quote made it yet, but that's what this is for, right? It's to sit down with people who I feel like have quote made it, right? Like you've worked your way up.
I wish I felt like I've made it.
It's the curse of a creative, right? We never feel like we have, but I promise you, in the eyes of a junior creative, or you know, someone in my position, you're 30 feet above us.
Living the dream.
Yeah, you know. And so, you know, when it comes to that, it's like, what kind of drew you to this field? You know, like you could have been an engineer, but you chose to be a creative. Like, why?
It's kind of, you know, my origin story. So this could be cool.
Right.
Villain or superhero.
Right.
In school, I used to sit in algebra class, and instead of taking notes, like I was drawing. I did poorly in algebra because of it. I was always drawing and always making things, you know, and taking things apart to understand how they work, and like all these kind of creative pursuits, and reading. I read a ton as a kid and all that kind of stuff. But I didn't have a lot of like support at home. I came from a pretty poor family, and what was told to me growing up was you can't make money with art. So you need to focus on something else, you know?
Yep.
And it wasn't like I had vocalized, but I think my family could see the tendencies, right? I hadn't come out as an artist yet, but they knew I was.
Sure.
High school, you don't feel like your authentic self because you're like, well, what am I going to do with my life? What am I going to do? And it's hard for everybody at that age. You're figuring everything out. Mm-hmm. But they had a computer class. I'm old, so computer classes were new back then. But it was like a graphic design class. And it wasn't that class itself changed my life, which it should have. But it was a go at your own pace, and it took me like 2 weeks to finish the entire semester of work. It wasn't hard. And they had kind of these light rooms and printing presses and kind of this old school graphic design stuff in the back. And so we would go back and we would draw caricatures of our friends and hang them up in the halls, I don't know, to make fun of them or whatever.
Right.
But like our little group of friends, there would be like a caricature of them. And the main art teacher at the high school, it was his like free period or whatever, but he walked through because he shared that room and saw what we were doing. And my friend Mike, who's a tattoo artist now, he was in all of the art classes because he knew who he was and who he was going to be. But he came and saw what I was drawing and he said, well, Mike, who is this? And he's like, well, that's Brett. And he's like, well, why aren't you, what grade are you in? I'm like, I'm a senior. He said, well, have you not taken any art classes? And I said, well, you can't make money doing art. I parroted back what I was told.
Right.
And that was kind of the pivotal moment in my life because, and why I believe everyone should have a mentor and be a mentor is because Mr. Loveland, he lives up by me, sort of. I'm going to go visit him and tell him where I'm at in life. Literally took me out of that class, took me down to the office, changed all of my schedule around with the, what do you call them? The advisors or whatever at the high school.
Yeah.
The counselors.
Right.
And he basically opened my eyes to what he called commercial art and making art for other people, and that you can absolutely monetize it and have a good career doing it and be happy. And from then on, I knew I was going to be a graphic designer. From high school, I had that figured out. And I was the first one in my family to go to college and do all that.
Speaking of college, I feel like a lot of us are now in this place of college is seeming less and less appealing to us because no matter what we do, oftentimes it's less about the degree, it's more about our portfolio. So for me, I feel like sometimes if I didn't go to school and I learned that I wanted to be a creative earlier, like in high school, I don't know if I necessarily would have gone to school. I would have just tried to, let's say, build up my portfolio more and try to get work that way. As someone who's now in a position who, is seeing this next wave, this next generation of creatives coming up, do you feel like college is worth it still as a creative?
Okay, and my hot take on popular opinion on college is that most creative directors or people doing the hiring went through college to get where they were, and they see that as that is something you have to do. If everybody just took a step back, was being honest, that checkbox of college is about the first 30 seconds of a consideration for a job. And then it's immediately, let's look at your portfolio. People coming up consider college. I think they should consider it because I think there are jobs out there, probably a lot of jobs out there still that they can't get without the college. But, but does the college help them? Ultimately, if they can arrive at a portfolio without the structure of taking college classes and all of that is supposed to help you yield a portfolio to show your creativity and get a job. If you can do that without college, there are jobs that I think you can get. I think you need to make I would be working on your network as hard as you're working on your portfolio.
Sure.
Because the very few people that I've seen that have gotten a career without a college degree, really successful, what we call career, I guess. They had great networks of people and people that knew them and trusted them. For some reason, like we equate this college degree with like trusting people.
Right.
But I do believe we should be following a more apprenticeship type model.
Sure.
With college rather than college. And say, hey, I want to be a creative, and then you bring them on, and the problem is not every master is also a good instructor or teacher.
Sure.
Or manager or like whatever. And so I think that's something that I think as a society we also just need to learn how to do better as like as communities.
Right. And I agree with that where, I finished up my degree. I went to 4 different schools. I bounced around a lot. I wasn't your traditional.
They kicked you out of a few, huh?
Yeah, SUU didn't like me very much. They kicked me out. No, out of all of my schools, all of my years of schooling, there's really only like 4 to 5 professors total that I feel like have actually made an impact on me as a creative and me as an individual, right?
We won't name them.
I won't name them.
Because what if some of them that aren't on the list see this podcast?
Yeah, sure. I'm not going to name them. But, a lot of them who know who they are, I still talk to, right? Like you're one of them.
A little bit fancier than it was, probably.
One of my teachers, mentors.
We can go mentor. That's probably.
All right, I like mentor.
That's fair.
And I've been fortunate enough to keep you in my circle, and I've been very thankful that you've still responded to my texts.
I don't know. I think that's the responsibility of everyone to do that in life for people. I don't know. That's my opinion. That's why we met.
Right.
That's why I found myself in that position of teaching design to high school kids. I wish more people took that more seriously. Definitely.
I mean, like I've been fortunate to we did lose touch for a little bit. I wouldn't say lose touch, but we weren't as active.
No, we're
in communication.
Just busy. You were chasing school and
right.
and life and everything else.
Definitely.
COVID hit. There's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, COVID was a rough one. To me, that's another reason why I felt almost cheated out of college as a creative. Right? It's like, for me, I was able to build this network through college, and as a creative, this is what I've been giving advice to people that are asking me, hey, should I go to school? How was your schooling? Things like this. For me, honestly, I wouldn't even say it's a lot of the education and the conceptual stuff that I learned. It's the network. I was able to go to the University of Utah, David Echo School of Business. And from there, I was able to build just an insane network of creatives and business people and entrepreneurs. And that to me is what college is for now. It's less of understanding the craft, right? So when you say this kind of apprenticeship model, right? My kind of back to you there is without school and without kind of getting into the same room as these quote masters, right? How can someone reach out? How to get noticed as a creative, and then also like how to get into the same room with these people if you are not paying to get into the room.
In my opinion, it's the job too. It's like what I get paid to do on behalf of the brands that hire me. It's also how I've gotten, I think, all of my jobs is by getting noticed. The industry is full of stories of people that are trying to get on at some big agency or get noticed by some person, and they'll put up like almost lost cat posters all around the offices. So like when these creative directors are leaving their office, there's like this weird thing that they've got to run into, or
Sure.
There's a social media place here in Utah. It's called the Space Station. They've got Space Station Gaming and all this, and it looks like a really rad place to work.
Right.
And if you know anything about the brand and the guy that kind of started it, he's really into cereal. And so if I was ever to apply there, I think I would like rent a trailer or borrow a trailer from a neighbor or something and build it out as like a bar, but like a cereal bar, and just pull that up in front of his offices one day with no food handler's permit. And I'd have oat milk and 2% and like all the options, and like maybe I'd dress old timey and like be polishing glasses and stuff when they like walked in.
Right.
But they can't ignore that. It's not ignorable. And so then you've got like the ear of that person while they're eating a bowl of cereal. I'm trying to think of a job I got. I mean, maybe my first job out of college. It wasn't so much about getting noticed as like
getting experience.
Just like I was, they were hiring a junior. I was fresh out of school. I just was in the right place at the right time with like a good enough portfolio, but I didn't know anybody that was doing the hiring there.
Right.
But got laid off from that job like a year after, because it was like 2008.
Ooh, okay.
Very stressful. It's a very stressful time.
Sure.
But I think it taught me about getting noticed. The first job I got after getting laid off, it was a small agency. Like, I'm talking like 6 or 7 people total in the agency, small marketing agency here in Utah. The work situation for designers was so tight that they had 200 applicants for this one kind of, it wasn't like junior, but it wasn't like a senior job. It was like graphic designer job.
Sure.
And I didn't know anybody there, but I gave them my resume. My portfolio was fine. I went back with like a week later, and I took them like a bunch of bagels. And I printed like up some paper plates and stuff that had like my face on them. Mm-hmm. So as they ate the bagels, like it was for their entire office, that they couldn't ignore me, right? And so, and literally the owner of the company said that is why he called me back, is because like he said there were lots of portfolios that were as good as yours, but they didn't do anything like that. There was another job I didn't get, but it wasn't because it was the wrong job. I had applied for this marketing position, and I wanted to work into outdoor sporting good stuff because I like camping, I like whatever. So I made a cardboard cutout of myself, just like took photos of me like in my underwear, and one in like business casual,
right,
and one in like outdoor sporting goods like clothing of the brand that I was like applying with,
right,
that I happened to own. And then it was like a life-size paper doll where you could change out the clothes. I built little magnets into it so you could just snap them on and off. And then I took a little light-activated voice recorder. You could record audio onto it. Mm-hmm. And then every time the light hit it, it would play one of the audio tracks. And I recorded like 12 or 13 things. Like you would take off the clothes and the light would hit it and it would say, "Does HR know you're doing this?" Or like little things like that.
Right.
And then I put all that in a huge box and addressed it to the hiring manager. Sure. Which is a huge box at your office is something you can't ignore. Yeah. And the hiring manager didn't call me back. The VP of the company called me back and told me it was the best resume he had ever seen, and that he did not think he thought my talents would be wasted in that job. And for me to apply when this other job came available, and for whatever reason, just didn't kind of close that loop and get that job. There's some investment there. Like I spent, maybe $200 at that time. This was back in the olden days, on these cutouts, right? But the reception of that was, I didn't get the job, but I got like some validation, which as creatives I think is valuable. Absolutely. In our mindset of self-doubt. It's good for something like that to happen where it's like, this is literally the best resume I've ever seen in my life. Right.
And I will say you're one of the only people I know that's done something like that. So that kind of showcases, how different of a creative you have to be to kind of get noticed, I feel like nowadays, right? Like for me, I did a spec ad for Cotopaxi. Jeff Davis, who might be on an episode coming up,
Spoiler alert.
Spoil it. No. He told me, he's like, this was fantastic. Me and my group were the only one. He's a very strict person when it comes to his grading and all this kind of stuff, right? And
what's acceptable is good work.
What's acceptable is good, and he's a VC, and so me and my group were the only one who were able to get 100%. And he said you should send this to
Cotopaxi.
To Cotopaxi, right?
Should.
And I tried, but that's the error that I ran into, right? Of like,
you don't know anybody.
I don't know anybody. How do I get noticed there, right? And since it's not, for a lot of people nowadays, to get noticed is digital, right? Like, how can we make a digital footprint where experiential is maybe not our realm, right?
But it's tough too, because like the people that are decision makers when it comes to staffing decisions, or the creative department or whoever it is, depending on the job you're looking for in the creative, right? If they're not chronically online or whatever,
right,
and they don't happen to run into the thing that you're trying to get noticed with,
right?
Let's creative sesh this really quick, and like how would you get noticed at Cotopaxi? Like what could you do to get noticed at Cotopaxi? So Cotopaxi, for the uninitiated,
right.
It's almost like fair trade coffee or fair trade chocolate or something, where rather than sourcing things like just in Vietnam or China and paying these workers like poorly,
they recycle, reuse a lot of their materials to
recycle materials, and then they use labor that is fairly paid.
Exactly.
In third world countries, but they pay them fairly.
Right.
To like sew the soft goods.
Right.
So that's like
that's their do more mission type of stuff. Yeah.
So that's the kind of crux, right?
Sure.
You want to get noticed? I mean, what could you do that aligns with that mission enough that they're just like, wait a second, like he believes what we believe, or
right.
And if you don't believe what they believe, maybe don't apply there. But
sure, absolutely.
They seem like a cool company to work for, right?
Definitely.
And so the idea would be to like come up with something that kind of aligns with that mission of doing good. Mm-hmm. That you're also like, hey, by the way, Cotopaxi, like, I'm right here. I want to do good with you.
Sure. When you want to talk about like creating outside of a bubble, right? For you, throughout your career, before you were, an art director, then you became a creative director, and now you're kind of overseeing a lot of this like digital experiential stuff. How has your experience when dealing with other creatives changed throughout your career?
I think if you're talking like a traditional track career, corporate America, advertising, whatever, you've got all it's titles and like all this bullshit. Can I swear on this? I don't know.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a YouTube show. You can say whatever the hell you want.
Is this a PG-13? Where are we at?
Probably PG-13.
Okay, let's keep it that. Like corporate America brings like a lot of structure. With that structure, I think brings a lot of bigger clients that they also have that structure, and so that's very comfortable for them. Right. That is like one of the risks to maybe working as like a freelancer, like an individual freelancer. Like you don't have all the support of like project managers and brand, all those people that like are expert in all these different pieces.
Right.
That like a big brand is used to. To answer your question about how dealing with creatives has changed, is really just like how much respect you get starting out as like a new creative. So like you're brand new and everybody knows you're brand new. And so like it takes I think a very specific creative director to look past like the newness of somebody.
Right.
As a creative simile, Ratatouille is my favorite movie because there's a couple things from Ratatouille that I love. And one of them is a good idea can come from anywhere.
Sure. I love that.
I try to think that all the time, like if someone, their title may not be creative even, but they're like adjacent to the process or something, and they're like, what if we did? I think it's a good creative director's imperative to listen to those things and quantify them without the lens of, oh, they have a creative title or they don't.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that same thing applies to like junior creatives. When you hire like junior people, even like interns and apprentices and stuff like that, the best idea can come from anywhere.
Okay.
Creative is so hard to quantify, right? We were talking about like salaries and stuff earlier.
Right.
The creative exists, especially the paid creative in the business sense. The way I look at it is business is this big machine.
Right.
And there's all these cogs, and you've got accountants and lawyers and brand managers, and we need this creative product to come out of this machine. And so the crappy thing is the creative title, the person that's a creative is not a cog. And the way that they work is not a cog, and it's not mathematical, it's not measurable in the sense of like, you know, all these MBAs want like, oh, well, how many dollars is that?
Right.
And it's like how many dollars is that idea?
Right.
We're like a nebulous cloud bouncing around inside this machine of cogs.
I think we are not necessarily in the cog, but I think we're in the grand scheme of business, because like you said before, operations, they wouldn't be able to show their outward face without the creatives, right? But we're not like in a watch, for example, right? We're the pretty face necessarily, right? We're not the cogs that turn it.
The logistics of a business or selling a product is like, okay, we can spend how much on R&D, we can spend how much on the actual production of the whatever it is,
right,
and shipping it out and packaging, and there's all these like hard mathematical numbers.
Absolutely.
But then they're constantly asking their creative to quantify the value of these ideas and these things. And it doesn't work like that, but we do our best. You know, it's like, well, we had this many, so impressions become a thing. It's like, well, this many people clicked like, and this many people did this. And it's like, again, but then it turns into this game of like, I can build an effect that's going to get a lot more like clicks.
Right.
But in my, I don't think it's going to program people's minds to recall the brand.
Right.
As well as like something else that might not get as many likes.
Right.
And ultimately, at the end of the day, is like kind of a brand awareness play. That's more important. But when the marketing team goes back to the CMO, he wants big numbers, and so everybody starts chasing likes, and everybody starts chasing impressions. And if I pay this many dollars for digital ads, I can expect about this much, click through to my website or whatever the goal is.
Right.
And it becomes like pay per click is the way I look at it.
100%.
Ideally, you can tie some sales on the back end to how people clicked through, and sales will probably be up or whatever. Something that if you can build a creative piece that matters to somebody, they may not buy in that moment even.
Right.
But 5 years down the road, do I still remember the Super Bowl ad with the Darth Vader kid? Absolutely. Where he was like that?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not going to buy a Volkswagen because I don't like them. But if I didn't not like Volkswagens, that ad is in my mind, when I think about car ads and stuff like that, that entertained me in a way that it stuck with me. And I am cynical about advertising. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So
100%. That's why in my opinion, that's why the old Dorito ads were way better, right? It's they were moments in time that you could look back to. And now they're just not that.
People celebrate what Wyden Kennedy did with Old Spice.
Right. Yep.
Who cares about Old Spice in this thing?
But yeah, no, I mean, I know exactly what you mean, right? Even Squatty Potty with Harmon Brothers, right?
100% Squatty Potty.
That's Harmon Brothers is a Utah company, right? And that's just something that's ingrained in my head, right? It's a unicorn using a stool to help poop, but like
they understood virality different. Like in the beginning, in the early days of the internet, virality was just what it is, what people think it is today.
Right.
Of like, oh, this was so cool and hit just the right note in the right time and that happens so rarely, but it still does. Like TikTok and stuff, you'll get something that just like comes out of nowhere. But from a marketing and like advertising standpoint, Harmon Brothers understand that everybody, the consumer understands that it's an ad. And right off the bat, you're up against like a problem.
Right.
You're invading this person's life. And so they still put money behind stuff like Squatty Potty. And they're still putting it out there, but then they are giving something of value.
Right.
Whether or not you value the Squatty Potty or the poopery ads or whatever that they did, enough people did glean value from these. That these are products that like are now like that didn't exist when they started marketing them.
Sure.
And now they're part of like, you can buy a Squatty Potty, you see Squatty Potty, you see poopery in like all the stores.
Every store, yep.
All the poop stores.
Right. And I mean, I think about it where it's like, something like Squatty Potty wouldn't have worked as well if it was done with like, in my head, like a traditional advertiser, right? Like if it was
just trying to share the logical benefits of squatting.
Exactly. Imagine an infomercial with a Squatty Potty.
Yeah.
That would never sell, right? Like,
well, you couldn't show it. No.
Well, yeah.
Again, back to amateur psychology. I think they say like 75%, maybe I'm making this statistic up, of our decisions are made emotionally rather than logically. So if you're appealing to the logic of somebody, let's say that my statistic's accurate, you catch 25% of those people.
Right.
I try to be really logical about my purchases.
Sure.
And like weigh benefits and whatever, but there's some point where I'm just like, often, I love like how cool the packaging is of something, and I understand what's in it or whatever.
Right.
Liquid death. I know what water is. I know what carbonated water is and flavored carbonated water. That's like all I drink. Right. It's a little more expensive, and it's in a can. I've drank drinks in a can before.
Definitely.
I'm not some metalhead, but like I start seeing enough liquid death that I'm just like laughing every time. Right. Because I know what they're doing. Yep. And it doesn't matter that I know what they're doing and that it's a play for my money. Guess what's in my little fridge in my office now? I've got liquid death in there. Yep. Because I think because I ended up trying it and it's fine. It's good. I like it. It's also delicious. They have a good product.
It's water. Yeah, it's flavored water.
And so I spend a little more. I mean, it's not totally stocked with that, but I bought it and I tried it. And now I do buy it regularly. Yeah. Pit Viper. Right. Another Utah company. Right. Crazy. Like their marketing is crazy and their product is crazy and their brand is crazy. And it doesn't match the people that buy it. Right. But they don't care because they understand that it's like tongue in cheek. Right. And it's become this like, this grungy metalhead like look, but regular people wear it all the time.
Absolutely. Like I just switched to Carpe, right? I don't care about, all the benefits, whatever. Like I do, don't get me wrong, and that's why I bought it again, right? But originally I bought it because it was like, they were out street marketing, right? Like it was like guerrilla style marketing, and I haven't seen that in a while. And I was like, you know what? I've seen so many ads of this. Let me just try it. And then now I have like 4 sticks because if the product is good and then the ad is even better, you're sold, right? Like that's just kind of how.
We have a chocolate company, my mother-in-law and I.
You're right.
We make high-end, bespoke, artisan chocolates, whatever. When we were getting started out, she wanted to just buy there's all kinds of packaging you can get from Alibaba or whatever it is. Right. And she wanted to go that route. Mm-hmm. And I'm designing this stuff. I'm like, absolutely not. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, we're going to spend money on the packaging. She's like, well, yeah, but every dime we spend on the box is less profit. Right. I said, yeah, but you have to understand the first sell, we don't do advertising, we don't paid advertising, is the box. Right. Then if the product's good, which we know it is, right, that's any subsequent sale afterwards. But if like,
Absolutely.
it's the same with advertising. Like there's, back in the day, I wanted to buy like a bag of grain, and there was 2 brands when I went to town.
Sure.
And I go, and I'm like, I don't know which one to buy. And so I asked my neighbor, I'm like, Cletus,
Right.
which grain are you selling, giving your hogs? And he's like, I use McKinnon's, blah, blah, blah. And my hogs love it. And I'm like, oh, that is a recommendation I could take to the bank. And then I buy McKinnon's.
Right.
And then somewhere along the way, it was Sigmund Freud's nephew.
Sure.
Weaponized psychology against people. Thus was born advertising. And then the McKinnon's killing it because they got the good grain. So then here comes whoever, and they're like, we're losing. Let's hire this ad guy.
Right.
And he gets on, and he's like, probably on the radio at that time. And he's just like,
Transatlantic added.
buy this one. It's
Right.
better than McKinnon's. And everybody's like, oh, it's better than McKinnon's. That's a recommendation.
Right.
And it took a lot of years, but now people are like, we know you're just paying someone to say good things about your stuff.
Right.
We can't trust any of you MFers.
Right.
And then comes social media. And that feeling comes back of like, oh, this is a recommendation. Someone's telling me that I have endorsed Kylie Jenner because I followed her.
Right.
So what she says is like, I've already like validated it.
Exactly.
by
I
following
use
her.
it as I keep it as a higher bar of what I see as acceptable.
And so she's like trying to like spread world peace with a can of Pepsi. I'm buying Pepsi. But like,
That was Kendall Jenner.
well, I don't know. I try to avoid I wish I had an app that blocked Kardashians, but I don't. Anyways, so influencer marketing was born,
Right.
which is like huge still.
Absolutely.
Like it is crazy how much money is being put into that.
Absolutely.
And how much like more powerful it is than running digital ads that just show up in the feed that are just
Right.
like, who cares?
Right.
But we're starting to wake up to that too, and it's just like, well, wait a second, you're getting paid now, not just
Absolutely.
like an ad guy,
Absolutely.
but now you're getting paid to say that this is good. Is it good?
Right. Right. I couldn't agree with you more. One of the biggest problems I have right now, I'm not going to say his name, but he's a food influencer in Salt Lake. And I can't stand him. Why? Because I can straight up just tell that this mom and shop restaurant paid this guy a buttload of money for him to just go film some stuff, showcase, a plate of food, and be like, come check it out. It's the best thing I've ever had in my entire life. And I'm like, I hate your guts.
I'll give you a guy that's good and you can tell he's trying to monetize like based on like viewership rather than like partnership.
Sure.
He's pretty dead on with like, yeah, everybody hypes this and it's trash. And so like, I'll turn you on to him. But then like, again, he's a dude, I don't know him.
Right.
I don't know if he's being honest.
Right.
But I've invested this confidence and trust in him
Right.
because as far as I can tell, he's being authentic and he's being honest.
Right. And that's the currency that we're switching into, which I feel like people are waking up to influencer marketing now, and now authenticity is coming back, right? And that's why, honestly, a big reason why I wanted to start this is my way to give people an opportunity to break out of that, paid cycle, right? I'm not paying you to be here. You're being here.
You're not?
No, and that's why I thank you so much for being here. It's like, you can tell that it's authentic because it's something that allows people to actually tune in and learn something from, or like gain an insight that they didn't have before, right? I wish I had that when I was coming up as a creative, right? I think there was, YouTube channels and stuff that helped teach me, but they didn't help, let's say, mentor or guide me, And that's what I want for creatives, filmmakers, entrepreneurs, whatever you are. That's what I want you to take away from this. And that's why I really appreciate you being here. And, you're a mentor to me, and now you're a mentor to whoever's watching this, right? Like,
Maybe.
I mean, to me, that's.
Call me, I have low rates. I'll mentor you. No.
And, from that, a portion of this podcast is always going to be audience questions, right? I put out your name. in our Instagram, and I said our next interview is going to be Brett Smith. Art
They asked
director.
if I was single? No.
No,
I'm
no,
not.
nobody asked if you were single. Luckily, it's. But I want people who start to trust this community and build this community with me to have a voice and learn and gain something from this, right? So that's what this section's for. It's audience questions, and these are real questions from people that are helping build the Breakout Creative. The first one actually comes from an old student of yours, Brody.
I know Brody.
And he says, how does one become as cool as Brett?
I've done a lot of branding in my career for other people.
Right.
This is me being very vulnerable and honest. I cannot brand myself. I'm wearing the same like skater shoes, like baggy pants and t-shirt that I wore as a skater kid growing up in the 90s.
Right.
I feel like if I wore like a Scully cap that didn't quite cover my ears and like had some horn rim glasses and sleeve tattoos and like, then I would brand myself as like a little bit more creative and maybe people would respect me more. There's all these things that you can do to look a certain way.
Sure.
And I just like, when I go shopping for fashion or anything, I'm just like, I don't care about this stuff for me. And I understand that it's like important because I sell it to my clients all the time and they make money from it. I've had clients sell their entire brand to larger brands because it looked so good. But when you're talking about like, how does one become as cool as Brett? I don't know if cool is the right answer, Brody. That might not be the adjective we're looking for. You can't be Brett, be Brody.
Bars.
Like, I don't even try to be Brett. That's all I can be.
Sure. I don't think you understand how deep that really is, though. Like,
I don't know.
that to me, because I mean, I've been wanting to be someone else for a long time, and I'm now understanding that, in order to
PR is awesome.
Thanks.
Be PR.
I appreciate you. No, I don't know about that. But the next one comes from Lindsay Nguyen. She's a student at the University of Utah in marketing right now. She wants to be Go Utes. She wants to be a art director, creative director.
Is she sure? No, I'm just kidding.
And she's very talented, I will say. But one of her questions is, do you think good ideas come more from instinct or from practice and experience?
Yes.
You elaborate on yes?
No, all of the above. Like just being out in the world and doing the thing and like don't grind in the way that like business tells you need to grind. Find a happy grind. Like when I was telling you to do the thing you love, like you don't care that you like have to stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning writing interview questions for somebody or like whatever the thing is. Like that doesn't hurt you at all. Like when you're talking really good ideas and really good creative, it comes from passion. Again, back to AI. Like there's passion. AI doesn't have any passion. Like if you can harness passion, like you can convey passion.
That's fair enough. I mean, in your earlier years, right? Like when you were first coming out, and this is to kind of
Coming out
expand
as
on
an
yours.
artist, yeah.
Coming out as a creative, we don't really have that experience. We have that instinct. And how can you? Is there anything you recommend for creatives to maybe hone their instinct a little bit more?
Yeah. One thing we talked about earlier was just ask everyone.
Right.
Like, again, back to egos. Everybody has a certain level of ego.
Sure.
And if there's someone that you respect, shoot your shot. Ask them if they wouldn't mind taking a look at your stuff. Like, how scary is it to ask somebody to review your portfolio that might be like,
right.
Get people's opinion and listen to it and see if it's valid. Some mentors I've had, their opinion wasn't valid 100% of the time. And that's where the instinct part comes in for Lindsay. It's just like, okay, what you're saying right now, boomer, doesn't work. But some of the other stuff you've told me has been really valuable.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Sure. So it's taking from people ahead of you, but also like trusting kind of where your gut feels.
Yeah, and it's a roller coaster yo-yo ride for creatives of self-doubt and like being stoked on people that are stoked on you in that moment, like these successes in your mind, whatever that is.
Right.
Of like, oh, that worked and I am validated. My creative is validated. The thing that like I hope will connect with people has connected in this moment. It's that combined with like another grind of a project that like is paying the bills, but I don't care about and don't want to do. I try to just be out in the world and looking for opportunities all the time. And then if I see one that like seems like has value, like grab onto that. Mm-hmm. And sometimes when the current place I'm at feels like less than ideal, it's hard if there's not like another opportunity presenting itself, even though you're looking. Like really good opportunities come far and few between. So just like always pay attention, always be looking, always be networking. And if you also have a plan of where you want to go, that's probably better, Lindsay. I'm not telling you to be like me. Because you'll know if that aligns, if that opportunity aligns.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's great advice for really any creative, not just Lindsay. But the next one is from someone who didn't want their name shouted out. But basically it's when you have to be creative all the time, situations arise where, your family life is bad or you're going through something and it's hard to be a creative. How do you navigate that?
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be that. Like, people are all wired differently too. So it could be that everything in your life's going better than ever and it's winter time. Just fake it. Your creative is like, if we're being raw and real, like your creative isn't always going to be good. It's not always going to be the best that you can produce.
Sure.
Like, and maybe it rarely is the best you can produce. Like, you're not always like creating it optimal.
Yeah.
I mean, this is going to sound cliche and corny and stuff, but like, take care of yourself first off. The question was like, if you just aren't feeling it, the vibe is off.
Yeah.
How do you stay
continue
creative?
to perform as a creative?
Just do your best. Take care of yourself, like I was saying. I'm a ripe old 46 years old now, or 47, 46, I don't know. I'm in my 40s.
Damn.
I know. Tell me about it. I can't do what I used to do. Like I used to go snowboard every single day. Mm-hmm. And then I would come home and like hang out with my girlfriend till 11 o'clock at night. And then I would go to bed and I'd wake up at 3 a.m. and go work at a bakery making bagels so that I could get off at 9 o'clock and go snowboard again all day, every single day. I would die. and I think everybody gets to that point just aging and everything else. But I think what the story that's not told is I've, not just with age, but like my performance is so much better when I've taken care of myself, even eaten better. The rest is a big deal. Protect your peace. We talk at my house, protect your peace. Like if there's something like negative in your life that's drawing that energy, don't let it have that energy.
Right.
But that's an active every day and you can't always control it, whatever. If creativity is valuable, start thinking about how your choices in your life affect your creative output and make the better choices after you start seeing what works and what doesn't.
Right.
Don't go out drinking late if you've got like a creative thing the next day.
Right.
And like, that's not gonna do you any good. Just decide what you value more. Is it that social activity or is it this creative output that you want to be optimal for?
Right. What's an unpopular creative opinion that you will like die on the hill for?
An unpopular creative opinion that I will go to bat for every single time. Okay. This might like lose me work in the future, but
And if you want this cut later, we'll
No, because I think when working for clients specifically, like I'm being paid to create something for someone else.
Right.
I think that there is a point of diminishing return. Nothing is ever perfect.
Sure.
I will say that. I don't think that's necessarily a hot take, but like I think a lot of creatives kind of like push for perfection,
right,
well beyond where they should. I think a lot of times the things that we notice as like super critical creatives and our eyes are like attuned to like these small things, we see way more detail than will ever be seen, even if you're showing the masses. Like people, other than other creatives, they'll notice our little mistakes or like little things like that. But we absorb so much visual on the daily, we don't have time to stop and like think about like something that, creative director come in, you need to fix this. Well, that's going to take another hour and no one will even notice it. And that hour is paid for by the client.
Right.
And so I think my unpopular opinion is a lot of creatives should probably stop like perfecting earlier than they do.
Interesting. Okay. That's definitely a hot take, I'll say, because for me, I feel like as a creative, perfectionism is a curse, right? It's something that we're plagued with. And so killing off the baby, so to speak, is a hard one for me.
It's easier said than done. And on my own stuff too, like I'm able to justify it when you're talking client budgets and you're thinking about like hourly rates and whatever.
Right.
It's much easier to say, okay, you can put $1 to it.
Right.
But like on any of my own branding stuff that I've ever done, another thing that I believe as a creative is never done. You either run out of time or budget. But if there is no budget and you can work on it indefinitely,
right.
Where you say like, how do you cut that off?
Listen, that's pretty much all the questions I had for you. Do you have any final kind of remarks? This camera right here.
Gosh, back to like, am I trying to be a mentor here on this thing? Like the mentor that changed my life, it was literally boils down to just like somebody telling me, you can do it. Like when everyone else was telling me I could not. And so the last, decades of my life are a result of like literally one person telling me you can do this if this is what you want to do.
Right.
Like clearly the passion is there, like, and it wasn't him just looking at my drawings either necessarily. It was like it was more than that, because like I was in high school, like, and this is maybe the luxury of me sitting where I am today looking back on how bad I used to be.
Right.
But it wasn't just about that. It was more him just saying, yeah, if this is what you want, go get it.
Right.
That's my last. Hopefully that's inspiring.
That is very inspiring. Brett, thank you so much for being here today. I truly can't thank you enough. I feel like I learned a lot during our conversation, and I'm sure there's people out there that will also learn a lot. Absolutely. And if there's some people who want to reach out to Brett for questions, like I'm happy to kind of convey those questions.
He can make a connection with PR, like and follow, and he'll connect you with me. Like I'll talk to anybody and like answer questions, and like I'm pretty good with like giving away time to like help people. I try to be.
I would say you definitely are. Thank you again so much, and thank you for watching the Breakout Creative. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you enjoyed the journey with us, and we hope to see you again very soon. And yeah, let's just keep trying to break out as creatives. See you later.